Tonight on the local game, we have some big news ahead of this weekend's Cup final. We'll catch up with players from the 1989 and 1994 Cup finals for Modbury Jets and Campbelltown City. Plus, we'll do our weekly review of the local leagues and take a look at some of the big results. That's all to come in today's episode of The Local Game. Welcome to The Local Game. It's great to have you back for another episode, for episode 20. We are in the 20s. Thank you for joining us for another week. I'm Johnny Keko alongside David Grant. Good to have you back, mate.
Oh, thanks for having me back, Johnny, and welcome to, you're out of your teens now, aren't you?
Yes.
Into your 20s, well done.
Yeah, we're in the 20s in the show. I'm in my 30s now in real life, so.
That's right, yes. A big
My age.
birthday for you the other day. Have you told everybody?
Kind of mentioned it last week, but kind of.
Quiet, sorry.
Yeah, I'm 30 years old now, so I'm getting old. I mean, if I was, when I was about 10, 15 years ago, I was screaming at LA United to get rid of the 30-year-olds. They're too old in the team. And now I'm that age. I'm like, that's not old at all. But anyway, those players keep playing to their 40, hopefully. Like Barbiero, maybe even more. Got Isaias in his late 30s as well. So that's just young.
Yeah. They might have another 10 years ahead of them.
Yeah, it's all about experience. Well, there we go. I'm very experienced as we're into our 20th episode. Got a lot to get through. Let's head into the hot topics. Well, on the weekend, there was the Indigenous round, which is great to see. The initiative from Metro Stars and Croydon FC, which has been going on for the last few years and few seasons. So this weekend, it will happen again at Croydon FC's home ground. And what a game it was. And something I love as well is that they always incorporate a student-led jersey design, which this year was done by Brooklyn Rigney, who's from Metro Stars Aboriginal Football Academy, and she's designed also Croydon FC's jersey apparently this year as well. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, so an up-and-coming player, young Brooklyn. I happen to know her. She started out at the Hawks, and I know her from there. And so she designed both shirts, and well done to her. She's been part of that Metro Stars program for a while.
Yeah, so it's good to see. Great initiative from the club to do that, and also a great initiative to bring back Travis Dodd, former Croydon FC head coach, who was a part of Metro Stars as well during the early stages of that Indigenous round, and an Indigenous Socceroo as well in Travis Dodd, who awarded the player of the match to Adam Martinello, a great young player at Croydon FC. So it's good to see that there, and that's the jersey as well that he is wearing, the Indigenous jersey. So very nice touches, and I love this part of this part of football.
And nice looking kits as well. Well done, Brooklyn.
Well done. And let's move into topic number 2. Big well done to two teams who are putting on some great events coming up. It's quiz nights. If you want to check out those, we got this weekend West Adelaide women are hosting their quiz night down at Gazer Football Club. You can head down to that. We'll be there supporting. I think Paul Muckachetti put together a table, so we're jumping on board.
The Brains Trust.
Yeah. Don't trust us, that's for sure. And also Salisbury Inter are hosting another one later on as well. So if you want to head down to that, Paul Muckachetti, Football SA, WNPL commentator, will be hosting that event. So tickets will go quickly. So get involved in that and reach out to the clubs to see if there's any available. Limited tickets, obviously, but get involved. It's always a good night out. And now we'll head into topic number 3. Talking about clubs, we may have more clubs. Expression of interest has been put out for the men's competition, meaning we may see a new team as early as next season. And this is what's been put out by Football South Australia. First time since 2016. So 8 years, we may see a new team. But what are your thoughts on who should come in next?
If you look at the Sassel sides, you've got your Elizabeth Downs, your Para Hills East, your Tea Tree Gullies, and then you've got Bosa, Old Ignatians, Pitbulls, and there's also Ukrainian Lion, USC Lion. They're an old team that used to play. In fact, they won the Federation Cup in 1956. Yep. They beat Cumberland 3-2 in the final.
I'll find out about that, actually, because my dad's cousin is president at that club, so I might ask him if they are looking in.
They're in I think they're in Sassel Premier League or Premier Division Saturday. Quite exciting though, isn't it?
It is exciting to see more teams. People has got a little bit one step ahead saying there's going to be a 4th division, but I don't think we'll be able to sustain a 4th division just yet.
No, probably not just yet, no. Actually, I wouldn't mind seeing the trapdoor open at the bottom of State League 2, dare I say it, and see maybe a playoff between collegiate sides and Sassel sides for to get up into State League 2. Well, that's not part of this conversation, is it?
Who knows? We could talk about this for days. Well, let's head into the NPL. If you have any actually insights on that, just reach out to us. We'd love to hear more of those rumours and share them on here. We can open up a rumour mill maybe.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's head into the NPL for the weekend, round 17. It all kicked off on the Friday night. Para Hills lost 1-3 to FK Belgrade. A massive win for the Beograd side. LA Comets, a 2-2 draw against Croatia Raiders. You were at that match down there. Another 2-2 draw. A lot of 2-2 draws that weekend. LA United and LA Olympic. Olympic would have definitely loved to have that extra 2 points just to get them a little bit away from that relegation zone. But at the moment, there's still a few points away. But another massive draw. Let's talk about this one. Modbury Jets, South Adelaide. A 3-3 thrilling draw. And also 2 red cards in that fixture. A draw that's probably cost Modbury Jets first place. And now they're sitting second by a 1 point gap.
Yes, Johnny. I mean, that was probably the most noticeable match of the round, and a real upset, really. South Adelaide sitting bottom of the table, travelled up to Modbury Jets and got a 3-3 draw there. Scoring was opened by Francesco Schmitzi in the 6th minute for Modbury Jets, and then South pulled 2 goals back in the 23rd minute and 37th minute through Tyrese Conway and Alex Rideout, respectively. That was half time. And then Modbury Jets equalised to make it 2-2 in the 48th minute. Schmitzi popped up again. And then Modbury Jets scored again through Hamish McCabe in the 56th minute. And then there were red cards. So Kwok, the goalkeeper for South, was sent off before Daniel Evans was also received his second yellow to make it a red for him. So he was given his marching orders. But who popped up in the 80th minute? 10 minutes to go to get the goal that sealed a point for them, but Jonathan Rideout.
Yes, so he made it a 3-3 draw, so a massive loss of points for Modbury Jets. Just those 2 points, they could have held on to top spot just by 1 point, but still massive. South Adelaide are one of those teams now in the last few weeks are just really pulling out some extra standout performances in the end just to really hold on to some points. Giving a little bit of, maybe a bit of false hope, maybe. I don't know. Is it?
Yeah, I kind of think it is too late for them. But and I don't have it right in front of me, but I think they've had 2 or 3 draws in their last 3 or 4 games. They haven't, I don't think they've lost a game in maybe 4 rounds. So a little bit of a resurgence towards the latter part of the season.
Well, don't go anywhere on the other side. We're going to talk State League and also the Cup Final. We're going to discuss that very, very soon, as well as catching up with some past Cup Final winners the last 2 times. Modbury Jets and, Modbury Jets and Campbelltown City won the Cup. We're talking some of those key players in both of those matches. Don't go anywhere. It's the local game. Welcome back to the local game. It's feeling a bit rough this week, but I think it was so much partying on
It's
the
all that
weekend.
shouting that you do at parties.
Yeah, a little bit shouting over the music on the weekend, but my head's feeling a bit dizzy as well. But anyway, it's maybe it's nothing to do with the party, more to do with trying to keep track of what games went ahead on the weekend, which ones are being rescheduled, because there's a lot of postponements on the weekend, and that's all due to the weather. This weekend, luckily, there'll be catch-ups because of the Cup round. So all leagues are at a standstill while we have the Cup round, but some games will be featured there. But let's have a look at what games did go ahead on the weekend. Let's take a look at the State League, where 3 matches were able to go ahead in the State League 1. Let's check out those results as we speak, and those results from the weekend. Playford and Fulham both rode out a 0-0 draw. Sturt Lions got a 4-2 win at home over Vipers FC, but the big one, Cumberland United, a 3-0 win over West Torrens Burkalla. A massive win for them on the weekend. Burke still hold on to second place, but Cumberland, 2 points behind them.
Surprise result, obviously, that one. Nathan Monroe scoring 2 goals for Cumberland, and Joshua Cool got the other one to give them a 3-0 win. But, I mean, Playford and Fulham, that's 1st versus 7th as well, so points dropped there for the top side.
Yeah, they'll be looking forward to the final part of the season now. They're sitting up there So it's interesting times now. They're very close at the top. A team like LA Blue Eagles now sitting fourth. They still got one game in hand. Obviously didn't play on the weekend, but still the struggle to try and get back now. They've got to try their hardest.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of teams at the top dropping points here and there has made it a very tight competition, which has been great for us onlookers, hasn't it?
Absolutely. Well, let's take a look at the State League 2 now, because some big results in those fixtures that that went ahead, because there were a few postponements once again. Let's check out those. A 1-1 draw. LA University just really struggling since that second half of the season has started. Still unable to really get that form they had in the earlier season, which a 1-1 draw still sees them on top by 1 point, but they just can't get that Pontian Eagles a little bit further away from him, trying to kick him down, but they can't really do that just yet.
No, you're right. And Uni are still top. They're on 41 points, but the Hawks versus Pontian game was called off. So had that gone ahead and Pontian won that, it would be a different story. But Uni still on top.
Yeah, so they've still got that one game in hand, whilst Cove FC got 2 games in hand. So if they can get the 6 points in that, they'll be on 39 points and 2 points behind second place. So it's just so bloody close up there, isn't it?
It is. It's very tight, but that's great for us watching on.
Oh, absolutely. And it's not as tight down the bottom anymore, because Mount Barker are on 16 points now. They could have made it 3 from 3 on the weekend. 2-0 lead at halftime. Poor Alessio in front. He was on the bench, obviously, but they were in front, a 2-0 lead, and let go of it to lose 4-2. You'd be disappointed in that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I think maybe they're guilty of capitulation on several occasions this year, and that's just been another one for them. I think they held that 2-0 lead up until the 60th minute and then conceded 4 goals in the last half hour, so not good enough really for them.
As we move into the WSL now, we watch games and think conceding 4 to 6 goals is never great, but when you're conceding 26 goals, it's never a great moment, and we all understand what's going on there at Croydon City this year, and we do feel for the side having to go through what they've been going through so far this season. But a good milestone on the weekend. They finally scored their first goal in a 26-1 loss. I know it doesn't sound right. They shouldn't be celebrating it, but it's great to see this. Check out the rest of the results, though. But that one here, as you can see, 26-1. That's their first goal of the season.
It is, and it's come against Campbelltown, who are top of the table. So well done, Croydon. And they're still promoting their women's team through social media, so that's been great to see too. The other one I was going to mention to you, Johnny, was Modbury Vista. They're on 30 points after beating Elizabeth Grove 4-1. That was a clash of 2 sides up near the top. Goals from Anastasia Nuttall, Daniel Harmer, Ella Smith, and Emma Hubbard, seeing Vista across the line there.
Well, that's all in the state leagues for the weekend. It was a great weekend of football. We got some more football still to come because those postponements. So we always like it when it's scattered out, because then we get to watch more football, head out to more football. It's always good, even though it is postponed. I know it's a bit of a headache for some players that have to come out of work, but it's always good for the game for us to
Good
go
for
and watch.
us, yeah.
Well, this weekend is the Cup round, and we're excited to see the Cup once again, which is including Campbelltown City. 30-year wait could come to an end, and also Modbury Jets haven't won from 5 years prior, back in 1989, the only time they won in their 3 occasions of trying to do so. So we thought we'll catch up with players from both those sides. Later in the show, we'll be catching up with a player from Campbelltown City, and Mario Boffa, the dad of James Boffa. And but up next, so you're catching up with Ian Cole.
Hello, I've made my way down to Service FM Stadium now, and I'm joined by Ian Cole, who played in the 1989 Federation Cup final at Hindmarsh on the 2nd of September 89 for Modbury in a 2-0 win against Parahills Knights. The number 1 song that week was If You Don't Know Me By Now by Simply Red. Ian, how are you?
I'm well, thank you, Dave.
Thanks for joining me. So there's not a lot online that I can look up about that final. What are your memories of that day? It was a 2-0 win.
Yeah, you're stretching my memory here, 35 years ago. The main thing I can remember about that game is the size of the crowd that was there. It's the biggest crowd I reckon I've played in for a local game. And being a local derby, Parahills were our main rivals, obviously, from being playing at Modbury. The game, I remember, it was a Friday night. It was a pretty even game, I'd say, for the most time, but we were lucky enough to get 2 penalties through the game. Peter Miller was brought down, I think, both times by Martin Crook, the goalkeeper, and Brian Kent took both penalties, and we won the game 2-0.
Good. Martin Crook, of course, former Socceroo, played 14 times for the Australian national side. So you had a number of players there who polled very highly in the in the Player of the Year awards that year. You had Richard Parsons, Dwayne Gray, Danny Docherty and yourself. Do you still keep in touch with many of those players from that day?
No, Dwayne, I do. Dwayne, we still very close friends. We keep in touch very regularly. We see each other at the gym each week, and we catch up, go for a drink every now and then. So Dwayne I'm very close to. Richard, Danny and most of the others I don't see much of at all, no.
Cool. We've got a friend in common in Terry Kent. He used to stamp on my feet at corners. Yeah, well, I remember in competitive matches. You have a similar memory of Terry?
I remember Terry and Brian. We used to always have a game at the end of training, 2 teams, and you're always, whenever they pick the teams, you're always making sure you're on Brian or Terry's side, because them two always played on the same team. They didn't separate, and if you're playing against them, you didn't know if you were going to be playing Saturday, because they used to go in that hard, you didn't know how you were going to end up at the end of training. So if you're on Brian and Terry's team, you always had a smile on your face. If you didn't, you were rolling your eyes saying, what am I in for? So great characters though, both of them.
So the big game is just a few days away now. I'm going to ask you for a prediction as to who you think might win it. So Campbelltown obviously coming in, going through a little bit of mixed form, and Modbury also the same. So what's your pick for the weekend? You got an outcome and a scoreline, please, Ian.
Listen, I couldn't give you an accurate outcome, but I'm just going on what I see bits and pieces on YouTube and the TV. And listen, Modbury, obviously I'm a Modbury supporter, and I've been really impressed with them this year. They've been very good. You know, the games they play, and they look like they have total control of the game, and then when they look like they're maybe struggling at times, they come up with a goal. And that what you need in each team is an X factor, and Modbury have that in a couple of players, especially Hamish McCabe. You know, every time I watch that boy on TV, he just pulls something out of the hat, you know, that which you need in your team. I'll go obviously for a Modbury win, and I'll go with a 2-0 victory like we did in '89.
Okay, great. Well, thanks a lot for your time, Ian. Really appreciate it, and hope to see you here at the weekend.
That was a great interview there, and a really great fact about Martin Cook playing against him back in those days as well.
Yeah, former Socceroos goalkeeper.
Well, we'll catch up with Mario Boffa coming up very soon. Don't go anywhere. It is the local game right here on Keko Media YouTube and Channel 44. Welcome back to the local game. Up next, we caught up with Mario Boffa from the 1994 squad that won the cup final with Campbelltown City.
Yep, excellent.
Well, let's have a listen to that chat when we caught up with him during the week.
Hello, folks. I'm down here with Mario Boffa, who had played in the 1994 Federation Cup final for Campbelltown City. It was a 3-0 win over Salisbury United, and they got there after a 1-0 win in the cup semi-final against Blue Eagles. Mario, how are you?
Good, Dave. Thanks. Nice to be here and to reminisce a little bit about the 30 years ago, which was a long time. But wow, it was a very good final, that one.
What are your memories of that final? It's been a bit difficult for us to get details on it. There's not a lot of photographs or videos around on it. So what are your memories of that day?
Look, that final was held at Highmarsh, and in those days we all loved to play at Highmarsh because it was just a great ground, great facilities and so forth. So both sides approached the game with, it was actually quite ferocious at the beginning until things settled down. But Salisbury was a very, very good team. But we had a good mixture of older players and young players coming through, and our coach Rocky Aloisi had the team playing extremely well. And we really scored a couple of goals late, but otherwise it was a very, very close game, and the scoreline probably flat us a little bit at the end. It should have been probably a 1-0, maximum 2-0 victory, but it was good win.
So Campbelltown City were a newly promoted side that year. They'd just come up from the tier below. Were there expectations of success, or were you really sort of an underdog team that nobody expected much of as a newly promoted side that year?
Yeah, Dave, so Campbelltown's history was very, very simple. We were always a first division team. In those days it's called First Division. And we had in the early 90s, we got relegated, and but we pretty quickly got back into the Premier League, and they appointed Rocky Eloise, who was coaching Enfield at the time, and he brought a few players, and so with the new players plus the existing team that we actually had a pretty good squad, very good squad. So the expectations from the Campbelltown supporters, members, and so forth, it's always been high, and so we were expected to win, and we had a good squad, and we did. So it was a very good night. Great celebrations too.
Okay. Hey, I'm going to spring a little surprise on you here, Mario. I've got this photograph that I found in the archives. Look at that handsome young guy.
With the Alvy kid.
Yeah. Any comments on that picture?
Yeah, well, I was sales and marketing manager for a company called Bianco Building Supplies, and we supported soccer, and a lot of the clubs, in fact, most of the clubs. And one of my roles as the sales manager was to give out the awards, and none other than Albie Kidd, who was an exceptional soccer player in that era, coming out from Scotland prior to that. And it was. I've got that too actually at home. But when the family looks at it, they said, "Gee, look at the hair on him." So. No, and it was a pleasure to give Albie that trophy, because he was a top player.
And right next to an advert for deep fried chips as well. Finally, you got a prediction for the big game at the weekend?
Good question, that one. I rate Modbury. Morris Natali's got them playing extremely well. Good attacking football. They've got a couple of good players there. Campbelltown has a great squad. Probably got a couple of players out at the moment, but still they're going to put a good look. It's going to go either way, and I'm predicting at Campbelltown 1-0. My heart says that. So let's hope that it is a 1-0, but it'll be a very, very entertaining game from both teams.
1-0 is the prediction from the big man here. So we'll wrap that up. Thanks a lot for your time, Mario.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
Well, that was a great chat with Mario Boffa. I'm just excited now hearing those stories from the 1994 Cup Final with Campbelltown City, the last time they won 30 years ago, and also the 1989 Cup Final that the Jets won. It's very exciting now to see what it meant for those players back then and what it would mean for the clubs going into it this week to try and to get a Cup Final, because both of these teams have had a crack at it over the last 2 years, respectively, to try and to get another one for the club, but been unsuccessful. But now one of those clubs will finally get to do it again.
Yeah, and it's a long wait for either of them.
And we'll look at those the cup final coming up very soon. But before we do, let's take a look at the round that was for the Go Sunny Soul at WNPL on the weekend. Some of those results: Friday night blockbusters, all 5 games. Football SA NTC, a 3-0 win over Metro. Camp LA Comets, a massive 3-0 win that puts them 3 points behind West Adelaide, who won 4-1 over West Torrens Bacala. But also Adelaide City, a 0-0 draw with Salisbury Inter. And it's Adelaide Uni and Sturt Lions, bottom of the table clash, 1-1 draw. Sturt Lions almost held on to win that game.
Yeah, I mean, 1-1 draw. Sophie Burke popped up in the 84th minute to rescue a point for Adelaide Uni. But Sturt led for most of that game and would be gutted to have missed out on having 3 points, wouldn't they?
And Uni, if they got that win as well, they would have got those extra 2 points. They would have been equal points with Flinders United. And Flinders United have got a worse goal difference. So they're minus 15, whereas LA Uni are only minus 8. So they've got to be careful, Flinders, because they don't want to drop into that zone and have to go into that playoff. And yes, it's a hard one for them because they're starting to drop a few points lately.
Yeah, they've been on a bit of a slide. I mean, losing 3-0 to Comets, they're now on 12 points. So they're only 2 points away from Uni and Sturt, of course, on 7. So
yeah, unfortunately. So, but let's head into round 13 of the Go Sunny Soul at WNPL. Friday night action once again with 3 games. West Adelaide, Football SA, NTC, Salisbury Inter Uni, and also Flinders United, Adelaide City. That Flinders United won Adelaide City. It's going to be interesting to see if those 2 teams can be an even playing field, or will Flinders be able to get some points in that? Because Adelaide City haven't been in their best of form.
Yeah, no, Adelaide City are a bit hit and miss as well, aren't they? So a good time for Flinders to be playing them, I would say.
Yeah, and also the Saturday action as well, Metro United, LA Comets, and also West Torrens Bacala, Sturt Lions, a massive one there. Sturt have beaten West Torrens Bacala in the cup to get to the cup final. Can they do it again in the league down, get their first win of the season? Maybe
Sturt
not.
have got nothing to lose. And in fact, they've got a very good record recently because they've had a couple of draws in the league and, of course, that win in the cup.
Yes, absolutely. And we talk about cup as well. That's all for the round of 13. But this weekend, there's no men's football apart from those catch-up games that will be placed around the place. But also Cup final, Modbury Jets, Campbelltown City. It's a huge one. We love Cup finals. Can't wait.
I'm excited.
It's exciting. We're going to be down there for that. Well, who is your tip? Campbelltown City or Modbury Jets? Put you on the spot here.
You have put me in the spot. I wasn't expecting that. I don't know. Look,
I think it's going to be an exciting game of
it
football.
might go the full 120 minutes.
I think
maybe
it
not
will.
Penalties, but maybe 120 minutes, and maybe. Oh.
It's a hard one, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm excited. This
Campbell
is good.
Modbury.
Yeah, Campbell Modbury or Campbelltown Jets. But I think it's going to be an interesting game.
Who are you picking?
But you know what? I actually can't split it. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a tough one. It all depends on how the game plays out. I don't know. Either team can win it. That's the thing.
I'll go for Campbelltown. Will you go for Modbury?
Yeah, why not? Let's do that.
Okay, we'll do that, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, will you get the keys to the city, or will I get to jet off with the cup? I don't know, whichever way it goes. But I've used that a couple of times.
Yeah,
but
it's very good. Very good.
because it was 2 years ago, it was City and Jets, but it was Adelaide City and Modbury Jets.
Yeah.
So
Do you know? I don't think the two have met in the cup.
I don't think they have either. So it will be an interesting final. Can't wait to see what happens in there. But keep an eye out for that. Two Mullins brothers coming against each other.
Yeah,
That's going to be exciting.
That will be interesting.
Yeah, it will be. And also on Saturday, can finally announce that if you watch the game live streamed on Football SA's channels, you will see the pre-game show brought to you by the local game. So it'll be a bit of a local game feel to the Cup final pre-game show. Myself and Mark Talbot hosting it. You'll be making an appearance through it as well when in there as well, but also commentating, which is exciting.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I didn't do any of the finals last year, so this is my first one. So very excited about it.
So make sure you tune in prior to the game on Football SA's channels for the broadcast of that cup final, but also you'll be able to see the pre-game show. Don't go anywhere because up next, well, actually, don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. No break. There's no break. It is right now. It is press for time with Antonis Maconis.
Some exciting news for our young national team, Johnny, with the Joey's winning the ASEAN Under-16 Boys Championship for the first time since 2016, with Malu Anekala, Noah Ilau and Amlani Tatu all featuring in that team. Meanwhile, with the young Matildas, we've got Amelia Murray and Tanae Morris getting selected for that squad. Good luck to them.
Well, thank you, Antonis Pagonis. What a legend he is. If you haven't already, go say hello to him. Just bug him. I love it. Just go and pat him on the head. I've told people to do it a few times. I had a few people pat him on the head. Anyway, goodbye. Let's just knock that out of the way. I'm getting a bit restless now. It is Cup final this weekend. Head out to the women's game as well, WNPL, catch-up games, but also get there to the Federation Cup final. Support your teams, support local football, get behind it, or tune in and watch our Cup final broadcast on Football SA and also the local game pre-game show. Thank you for joining me, David.
You nearly forgot my name. Thanks for
sorry.
having me, Johnny. I've had a ball.
The 30s, I think do you lose a bit of brain cells when you turn 30?
Possibly, but not ahead of our quiz on Saturday night. I hope.
No, I hope not. I'll get him back by then. Anyway, that's all for now. Have a great weekend. Thank you for joining us. It's a pleasure as always. Subscribe on YouTube, Keko Media YouTube page, or keep watching Channel 44. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend. Thanks, David.
Thanks for having me. See you later, folks.